You know that feeling when you're coding, where you feel like you're stuck in a loop, writing the exact same lines of code over and over again? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break that cycle. We're going to unlock one of Python's most powerful features, functions. Seriously, by the end of this, you'll be writing code that's smarter, cleaner, and just way more efficient. So let's get into it.
Does this look familiar? That feeling of typing the same commands again and again. It's not just boring, It's a huge sign that there's a much better way to get things done. And that is exactly what we are here to fix.
So let's dive into this whole repetition problem. And to really get it, we don't even have to look at code. Not yet, anyway. Instead, let's just think about a super simple, everyday routine that you probably do without even thinking about it. Yeah, brushing your teeth. You follow the same steps every single day, right? You grab the brush, you put on the toothpaste, you brush. You don't have to relearn it every morning. It's a saved routine. Well, what if we could do the exact same thing with our code? What if we could package up those repeatable instructions? That's exactly where we're going. And the tool that makes all of this possible, it's called a function. You can think of it as our secret weapon against repeating ourselves. It's just a way to bundle up a set of instructions, give that bundle a name, and then call on it whenever we need it. So what is a function, really? It's actually super simple. It's just a named group of instructions that's designed to do one specific thing. Think of it like a little mini program that lives inside your main program, just waiting to be called into action.
Okay, so making a function is basically a two-step deal. First, we have to define it. We use this little keyword, def, which is our signal to Python. It's like saying, hey, Python, pay attention. I'm about to teach you a new command. In this case, we're teaching it a command called say hello.
But here's the catch, and it's an important one. Just defining the function doesn't actually do anything. It's like we've written down a recipe, but we haven't actually told Python to start cooking yet. To do that, we have to call the function by its name. It's kind of like yelling its name to wake it up and get it to work. And the second we call it, Python just springs into action. It looks up the name say hello, finds those instructions we gave it, and bam, hello, pops up on the screen. We defined it, we called it, and it ran. It's really that straightforward. And this is where the real magic kicks in. Look at this. We wrote the code for our clap function just one time, but we can call it as many times as we want. Remember that tedious repetition we were talking about? This is the answer. It's a huge idea in programming called dry. Don't repeat yourself. You write it once and you can use it forever. This is how you start writing really smart code. Okay, so our functions can do things. That's awesome. But what if we want to make them a little more flexible? What if we need to give them some information to work with? Well, that's where something called parameters comes in. This is honestly the best way to think about it. Just imagine your function has these little empty input boxes. We call them parameters. They're basically just empty slots waiting for you to drop some information in. And by changing what you put in the boxes, you can change what the function does. Let's see this in action. Our greet function has one parameter, one input box called name. So when we call greet and give it Ravi, the name Ravi gets dropped right into that box. Then when we call it with Asha, her name goes in instead. See? It's the exact same function, but now we get a totally personalized result every single time. And the best part is, we're not stuck with just one input box. A function can have as many of these parameters as it needs. So, for example, if we wanted to make a function that adds two numbers, well, it makes perfect sense that we'd need two parameters, maybe a and b, to hold those two numbers. So, we've pretty much figured out how to send information into a function. But what about getting information back out? What if we want our function to do some work for us and then, hand us back the final result? That's the next step. Okay, this is a really, really important idea to get right. The difference between print and return. Think of it like this. Print is like shouting something out loud for everyone to see. It just displays a value on the screen. But return is like secretly handing you a note. It gives a value back to your code that you can then catch, store in a variable, and use later. So remember, print just shows, but return gives. So let's follow the journey of one of these return values. When we call our add function with 4 and 6, the function gets to work inside its little box and calculates the answer, 10. Then that return keyword acts like a delivery guy. It sends the value 10 all the way back to where we called it. We can then catch that value and store it in a new variable, maybe called result. Now that number is ours to use however we want. All right, enough theory. We've laid all the groundwork. We know how to define functions, how to call them, give them parameters, and get results back with return. So now let's put it all together and see how these things actually work in the wild. Here's a perfect real-world example. We need to check if someone is old enough to vote. This can vote function takes just one piece of info, an age, and then uses some simple logic to figure out the answer. And look, it returns a crystal clear true or false. No confusion, no guesswork. So when we pop in the age 20, the function does its job and just hands us back true. It's such a clean, elegant, and totally reusable way to answer a specific question. We can use this little function all over our program without ever having to write that logic again.
Or how about this one? A tiny but powerful little calculator in just 2 lines of code. Its only job, is to take 2 numbers, A and B, multiply them together, and return the answer. It's small, it's focused, and it is incredibly useful.
And when we feed it the numbers 3 and 4, it does its job perfectly and hands us back the number 12. Now we have that value. We can use it in other calculations or do whatever we want with it. See how we're starting to build complex programs out of these simple, reusable little tools? All right, so let's just boil this all down one last time. Functions are all about grouping code into reusable blocks. We use def to create them. We use parameters to send information into them, and we use return to get results back out of them. Ultimately, they are the absolute key to writing code that's clean, smart, and way more organized. And that's pretty much the whole shebang. So I'll leave you with this little challenge. Think about a simple, repeatable task. It could be in your life or in some program you're dreaming of building. What's the very first routine you're going to automate with your new coding superpower? The possibilities are literally endless. Thanks for joining me, and happy coding.